Welcome to the Young Hearts Run Free podcast. This is season 13, episode 7. The guest tonight is you, dear listener. It's Stevie Boy and myself, John Cassidy, going to have a wee chat about lots of different things. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm okay, John. Enjoying the glorious sunshine.
Isn't it quite what? I suppose
Can't you tell by my voice?
We get, yeah, man, you're really excited and wearing that svelte 6 finisher hoodie as well. As we often get the Perthshire Amber at the other end of the year, don't we? In about August, September. But we've been basking in glorious sunshine, man, isn't it? It's a wee bit dry underfoot, actually. How's the Ochils?
Every day again.
Because they can be right
on them for a while.
Because they can be right boggy, eh? Normally, eh?
Yeah. No, I'd imagine that they'll be fat.
I've even noticed, like, even going up Canoe Hill, it's been quite dry. I was out walking Dunkeld on Monday, up one side of the river and down the other, and that was dry as well. No, the river bed, but the side, the beast dry. I was close to the River Tayway, Stevie Boy, but no, that was the other side of the A9. Just after we left that lovely, what was your pal's name? Davey, that brought us coffee.
Aye, Davey Martin.
Aye.
Yeah.
That was the other side of the road.
Yeah. Aye, that was a great wee coffee stop, wasn't it? In Dunkeld.
Brilliant.
Very welcome.
Right.
Well, wait a minute. Actually, you did touch on something there. You're collecting trig points now.
I have been since the 1st of January 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it. John is collecting trig points.
Well, I'm not bringing them home. I'm going to them. I'm visiting them. My
logging them.
I've got a book, man. It all came about. Vic Williams, the Happy Runner, posted a thing in December on Instagram that she'd visited 52 trig points in 52 weeks, or maybe she's never done it week by week. But that was her challenge. She set herself at the start of 2024.
Okay.
And I'm a collector. I like collecting things. So she then posted a photograph of a book that's like a book for logging the trig points you visited. And there's one for Perthshire and Stirling. There is 149 trig points in Perthshire and Stirling. So I'm not setting myself a number to see how many I can go. I've been to places I never knew existed by going to some trig points, and I'm not just limiting myself to Perth and Stirlingshire. I've been to Aberdeen. Well, wherever I go, I've been to Edinburgh. I've been to Glasgow. I've been to Linlithgow. Wherever I go, man, if there's a trig point, it's a whole new world, Stephen.
Yep.
It's like it's when you start ultra running and you find stuff on the internet. I found a map with the UK with trig points. So,
and you know about trig points and why they're there.
Yeah. I found out that. I never used to, but
one trig point you can see 2 other trig points.
Yeah, they were created. They were planted or made so they could create a more accurate map of the UK. But then GPS come along and they're no use for them now, apart from being sitting there. And they're not always on the top of a hill, which I've found interesting as well.
No, I've got the nearest one to my house, John, is the spire of the church, about 200 metres north of where I'm sitting.
Is there a trig point there?
That is the trig point, the spire of the church.
Ah, okay.
They're not all these little obelisk things.
Well, yeah, it's the obelisk things that I'm visiting. They're the ones in the book. So probably the nearest one to you, would that be Craig Rossie?
Craig Rossie is there. There's another one at the top of Steels now, I think, in the Ochils. Yeah, I took a wee avid interest in them during COVID when things were a bit, you needed interest in your life. So and it was trig pointing or train spotting, and I went with trig pointing.
There's also that other thing, geocaching.
Geocaching.
That's a different thing. There's actually one in Aberystwyth, the only one I've been at that was on its side that's been cowped. Whether it's been, you see, a good bit of machinery to cowp it. It must be like a farmer or something. But
could we uncowp it?
You need a squad.
I've got a squad, John.
Maybe the squad on a Thursday night could be the boys to go and lift it.
Right. Okay.
Invite me. I'll come along and I'll film it.
Right.
As well as I'll get a GoPro or something.
Watch this space. Have you been on Trig Point in UK?
Oh, aye.
The website. Yeah.
Oh,
it's where you log your Trig Points. Yeah.
You can do that, and folk do that, and they put up recent photos. It's a whole new world I never knew existed, and I love it. I love the people getting involved in this sort of stuff. And there's a lot of people have started sending me photographs when they visit Trig Points as well, and I like that as well. So please, if that's you, keep doing it.
Race or not, John?
Trig or not?
Start at the furthest north Trig Point in the UK and visit them all on a massive epic ultra marathon that'll last the rest of your life.
And each one could be a segment. Oh, Stevie Boy, didn't he dangle carrots?
Could you imagine the pattern on Strava? Anyway, well done, John. Keep us updated on your Trig Point adventures. I love it.
I hit number 50 on Monday just past. So 50 for the year. So
a significant milestone in your Trig Point journey.
Thank you very much.
It's all right. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
This is a running podcast, not a Trig Pointing podcast. What's happening in the world of running?
Previous guest, friend of the show, supplier of anti-chafing cream to us, Laura Watts, otherwise known as Badwater Laura.
Yeah.
Laura had said while she was on with us that she'd entered Keys 100, I'm going to call it. It might be called the other way around. Keys 100 is one of the things that Laura goes to in preparation for Badwater. She was over there last weekend and took 9 hours off her PB. She got a 9-hour PB and also came first in her category. So massive well done to Laura Watt. She's 100 miles. I think it's from Key West to Key Largo, the Keys 100. 100 miles. She finished in 20 hours and 54 minutes. Amazing.
9 hours.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you come on the Young Hearts Run Free podcast. You take your running to the next level.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Wow. I know, and she's having an absolute stunner of a year so far. So she'll be about 7-8 weeks out for Badwater.
I think so, yeah. But she's rattled a couple of marathons as well, like big marathons too. And she's
marathon PB.
Yeah, marathon PB. So she's on, as you say, Young Hearts Run Free. It lights that fire for people.
The catalyst.
Another previous guest, friend of the show, Nick Dawson, is currently undertaking the 8-day challenge that is the Cape Wrath Ultra. Toasty conditions. This will be day 3, maybe 4?
4, I think.
Day 4. Yeah, it'll be day 4.
Yep.
I think.
We're on, what are we on, Wednesday?
Yeah, started on Sunday.
Yep.
Started on Sunday. So, and there's a few people that listeners might know. And it's one of these ones where if you go into the Cape Wrath Ultra tracking thing, you can leave a message for somebody as well. And I know they get the messages printed out at the end of each day. So please send the message and give people a bit of support in there as well. That's a tough old gig, the Cape Wrath Ultra. We spoke to a few people about that. Tough gig, harder. Is it harder in the heat? Some folk like the heat. I don't know, but
it's got its pros and cons, isn't it? It's going to be, I'd imagine, easier underfoot than it has been in previous years. But you're going to have to contend with other things that heat brings.
So good luck. Make the right decisions, people. The runners that are out there, and encourage everybody to say to send the message. Stevie Boy, it's a big weekend in the world of Scottish running. This weekend, on 25th of May, a very special day, it's the Edinburgh Marathon 2025.
The Edinburgh Marathon. The Edinburgh Marathon is dead to us, John.
No, we offered them. We offered the organisers, the race directors, an opportunity last year. There was a bit of a debacle.
We dangled the carrot.
We did. And we said, come and chat with us. Put the word out. They chose not to do that. However, I don't know if they've sold out again, but they've certainly got a good few number of folk going down to run about the capital of Scotia this Saturday and Sunday. I think they call it the EMF, Edinburgh Marathon Festival.
Have you done it?
No, the only run I've done in Edinburgh was a rock and roll half. Remember the rock and roll thing?
Oh yeah.
I've done the rock and roll
band day. There's one in Liverpool and one in
Dublin,
and then there was one in Las Vegas. And
I did that way back at the start. I think it was my third half marathon. I'd done Jedburgh, Alloa, and then did the rock and roll in Edinburgh, and I enjoyed it. But I've never been to the EMF. I don't know if I'll go now. Actually, after last year,
you're unbelievable.
That's the right EMF. I like them.
I don't know if I would. I'm not convincing you to go unless the organisers come here and give us a free spot.
Well, there's always that.
So I was over. There's a new betting app being launched called BetJC, and I'm not a betting man, John, but they're running a book on eventualities to happen at the Edinburgh Marathon. Now, if you're running the Edinburgh Marathon on Sunday, remember this is just us having a wee bit of fun. It's got a start and it's got a finish and it's got 26.2 miles, hopefully, for you to cover. Just concentrate on yourself. But the preview, how would you say? Previous. What's the word, John? Help me out.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a debacle last year, but there's been a few. I would go with
previous debacles.
Previous misdemeanors. Folk getting pissed off, right? Pissed off at stuff.
Totally. So on the BetJC app, there is a book running. There's 5 or 6 things that they've got. First up is run out of water. As in, will they run out of water? Is 61. They've got 61. Now, they've run out of water before, so you didn't run out of water twice, but it's still 61, which shows.
That's a good bet.
That's what the bookies are thinking, right? No enough medals.
Well, that was a big aim last year. That was a big aim, man.
And that was one that we pretty much described as indefensible, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. That simply doesn't happen 2 years in a row. It's 40-1 this year.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Okay. Weather's been rather nice lately. It's due to change before Sunday. Okay.
That's right.
Looking a bit breezy. We have a wee bit of rain in the forecast as well, which brings us to the third book that's open on the Edinburgh Marathon BetJC app. Is drop bag carnage at the end.
That's right. Last year, it was raining, and folks drop bags. Their dry gear was soaking wet.
Yep.
Couldn't they get heated up?
Again, you didn't make the same mistake 2 years in a row. 25-1.
Yeah. I've never been, but we've both been to London. They've got Arctic lorries, and your bag's in an Arctic lorry, isn't it?
I did the Edinburgh Marathon 2008. It was my second ever marathon, and it's changed a bit for then, I believe. So
right.
I'm not quite sure. It was like the finish line was on the finish straight of the horse racing course. I don't know what the crack is.
Isn't it Musselburgh?
Yeah.
It finishes at Holyrood Park, I think. Does it not?
No, I don't think so.
No, that was a rock and roll half. I've not. So sorry, I have not done that.
No, it finishes at Musselburgh. So I'm not sure what the crack is. I think, but last year they were just. It sounded like they were just lashing the bags about anywhere. There was a bit of spare grunt.
Lashing the bags about.
That's what it read like on Facebook and feedback. That I'm no speaking for personal witnessing. Statements here. Okay. They've ran it a few times, so this next one that's on available for maybe what to put a wee sneaky quid on it or something like that is course measurement short.
Imagine the rage. Folk doing that wee bit extra. You're finished, you're through the arch, your watch is saying 25.6.
No, but it's maybe even saying 26.19. That's not a marathon.
That's not a marathon. No.
You hit stop. Strava isn't saying to you, you've just got your marathon PB because you're about 50 metres short, mate.
Aye.
So 60-61 course measurement short, because I didn't think it's going to be short because they've done it before. So and it's not been short before, so we've got confidence. Mid-sized t-shirts.
No way, man. You can't. So folk like me going about, I'm asking for a large or maybe an XL, and they're giving me a medium.
Or you get one that resembles like a box. So it's as wide as it is long.
Shape.
As wide as it is long.
So there's no fitted shirts for ladies like a fitted shirt, some of them, don't they? You know?
I don't
know. These are just
like, this is a gamble here, John. It's saying mid-sized t-shirts 10 to 1.
Ah, okay.
I mean, I don't know if they do cater for whatever. However, mid-sized t-shirts 10 to 1. And that could be, but maybe boxy fit t-shirts are in. Those oversized are in. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm not a fashion expert, man. Just
right enough. Near, you know. And then odds-on favourite.
Okay.
3 to 10.
3 to 10.
Unoriginal branding.
Oh man, it smacks you right in the chops, doesn't it?
I mean,
you just change the digit on the end and make last year same as last year's, man. No.
So there we go. Over to BetJC. Get your bets in. World record to beat. Beaten. $1,000,000 to 1.
Right. So, and another opportunity. Organisers of Edinburgh Marathon Festival, come and speak to us. Get us involved next year. Give us a place each. We'll come down and run your marathon. Well, we'll run your marathon, not run it for you, but
we'll run it and then give it an honest review.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was another event happened in the Auld Reekie.
What was that?
It was the Silver Nows 5K.
Yeah, the fast one.
Last Friday evening in glorious sunshine, although a wee bit of wind. Not too much, but enough when you're running fast to put a wee fly in the ointment. But that is fast, isn't it?
Oh, man.
It just shows you when there's other fast people running and you can run in, you feel like you're going backwards, but you get dragged along.
Yeah, you get taken with them. Yeah. And they give you a pineapple. You get a pineapple for doing it. I love that. Who we speak to about that? Martin Butcher. Martin Butcher was there. I seen him on social media. He was doing with the PH fellas.
Must have been absolute schwanksville. That's another thing I noticed. Tracksmith are at Edinburgh this weekend. You know the brand, the probably a bit overpriced brand, making their Edinburgh debut. So maybe there's something to be said for attracting them. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just an observation, John. But anybody running Edinburgh, enjoy yourself. Didn't listen to us.
Definitely. We're just passing on our thoughts and wee chuckles that we've had at the expense of the organisers. The main thing is, if you're going down to run the Edinburgh Marathon Festival and you've put the training in and you're ready to go and run 26.2 miles, go and have a belter. It could be the day of your dreams. So we wish you all the very, very best.
We hope the race organisers had the day of their dreams and all.
Yeah, definitely. That's our wee disclaimer at the end. There you go. There you go. Now, we've got a competition. It's been a while since we've had a competition.
Are we jumping over the other side of the 1st to 4th to Edinburgh, John?
100%. Where the good stuff happens. There's good stuff happens in Edinburgh, but this is right good stuff.
Kingdom of Fife is calling.
Yes. The Kirkcaldy Parks Running Festival have been in touch with us. They're giving us 2 places for the Kirkcaldy Half Marathon, which is on Sunday, the 31st of August. So we're here to give them a wee bit of promotion. There's also a trail race on Saturday, the 30th. Both events are available to enter on Entry Central. You'll find other events on Entry Central as well. After the Running Festival, for instance, you'll find on Entry Central too, and the upcoming Chile in November. But this is about the Kirkcaldy Half Marathon on Sunday, the 31st of August. If you would like a place of prizes that money can't buy, because there'll be a wee special hanging it too, then all we're asking is that you let us know, what is Kirkcaldy famous for? That's the question. We'll put this on our socials as well. But what is Kirkcaldy famous for? There will be a judging panel to look at the entries coming in. Of Stephen or I, or both of us might be on that panel. But
maybe a special guest.
Yes, most definitely. And it will be adjudicated to perfection, and we will announce the winners forthwith. So we'll put the information on our socials. But if you're available on Sunday, 31st of August, the Kirkcaldy Half Marathon is taking place. And thank you very much for the prizes being given up to us. We really, really appreciate that. Okay.
I'm trying to think what Kirkcaldy's famous for. Plenty. There's plenty of options there, by the way.
There's loads in there, man. Loads in there. And if you feel free, if you want to go and Google some stuff, that's absolutely cool as well. If you're no fake Kirkcaldy, you've never heard of Kirkcaldy, that's cool.
Or go to Kirkcaldy and find out for yourself.
A lot of good bakers in Fife. A lot of good bakers in Kirkcaldy. Aye. Maybe enter that competition myself. We can't enter it, can we? That would be unfair.
No friends or family of Young Hearts Run Free employees are. It's in the small print, John.
Yeah. Okay, we've got to adhere to that. We should also say thank you to everybody who was in contact about our Henry Hart episode last week. A lot of people have loved the detail that Henry gave, his dedication, discipline, motivation. We were impressed when he said he was going to run him for his work after speaking to us. But he then went on to describe a quite brilliant attitude towards running. So thank you very much, Henry, and thank you everybody that's commented. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
120 grams of carbs an hour?
Think so. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
A lot. All in fluid?
Yes, all fluids. Yeah. Every other lap he was mixing it up with just water as well. So
plant that seed in your head.
Time for a race or not?
Always time for a race or not.
Okay, let's do it. So, for those who this is their first time listening to Young Hearts Run Free podcast, welcome. If it's the first time you've heard race or not, then what happens is I'm going to read out descriptions of 3 races to Stephen. Stephen's got to decide if they are a real race or not. Are you ready to go, Stephen?
I am. I was born ready, John.
Okay. The Fat Dog 120 miler. Okay. It takes place in British Columbia in Canada. It's happening on August the 8th to the 10th this year. There's also a 100-mile and 50k trail version. In this point-to-point course, you'll travel from valley bottoms through forests and up into the high subalpine terrain. There's a mix of technical and non-technical trails, with large sections being runnable. Most of the course is very remote, so you'll not get cell phone coverage or mobile coverage. There's no towns and no road access. All distances involve a challenging elevation profile. Many people have said it's similar or greater difficulty to hard rock. Is that a race or not?
The Fat Dog 120 miler.
Yes.
Didn't give us a clue in the description why it's called the Fat Dog. Have you got any more information about the name of the event?
All I can say is, I can give you a wee bit more information. The Fat Dog 120 team are passionate about equipping people to reach their life goals. No matter what distance, it's their commitment to come alongside every racer and get them to the finish line. They recognise it's a great privilege to run on these trails, and they give back to the outdoor community. Many of the trails incorporated have a rich history connected to the area known as British Columbia. Doesn't say anything about why it's named Fat Dog.
Okay, that's disappointing. I'm going for it. It's a race.
you'd be 100% correct.
Okay.
Fat Dog 120 mile is a race.
I want to be thinking there's a section in it that a fat dog runs with you.
Maybe. Yeah.
A wee chunky, like Jack Russell or something.
Okay. But they can't make dogs fat just for the Fat Dog 120 mile. They can't do that.
I bet you get dogs who are
Portly,
but like fit.
Aye. I'm a bit a fat dog.
How would you describe you as a Jack Russell? If you were to describe John as a dog, what dog would it be? Answers on a postcard.
Here's a great competition. Love that. We should open my book on that. Right. The Brown Starfish Ultra Marathon. Taking place on September the 20th this year. Dive into the adventure of a lifetime with the Brown Starfish Ultra Marathon. Combines the thrill of ultra running with the beauty of coastal landscapes, offering a challenge that will test your endurance and your spirit. It's 60 miles on diverse terrain from sandy beaches to rocky cliffs. Starts at 5:30 in the morning. It starts and finishes at the picturesque Eastbourne Beach in East Sussex. It's a mix of coastal paths, sand dunes, and a few ascending cliff climbs. But the biggest challenge is that runners must navigate the infamous Ring of Fire, which is a circular bog so sticky that every finisher leaves with what locals call the badge of brown honour. The finish is back on Eastbourne Beach, where you can enjoy. So I'm spitting. Where you can enjoy a stretch of flat, hard-packed sand, where you can pick up the pace and feel the wind in your hair. Celebrate your achievement with a beachside party, featuring live music, delicious seafood, and refreshing drinks. A chance to relax and share your race stories with fellow runners who have also become a Brown Starfish legend. Race or not?
What was the name of the race again?
The Brown Starfish Ultra Marathon.
That's no worry.
Make it sticky. You're quite right. That's not a race. That's not a race. Two to you.
That was your worst yet. That was worse than the hot stepper 5K.
10K. It was a 10K.
Oh, 10K, sorry.
Okay. One final one to test you.
Right.
The Grizzly Bear Trail has become one of the largest attended events in Belgium in the last 8 years. There's a choice of no less than 6 different distances: 16, 25, 39, 58, 83 and 100 kilometres. It's taking place on the 25th of October this year. The first 400 people to register get a free Grizzly Bear backpack. And they'll get that's that. Perfectly marked routes. Nobody will get lost on the Grizzly Bear Trail. You don't have to read a map or use a GPS. The Grizzly Bear Trail has index points for UTMB. So for the longer races, if you want to do the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc in the future, the Grizzly Bear Trail will lead you through a hilly landscape, through forests and through meadows. Is the Grizzly Bear Trail a race or not?
It sounds more like a race than the
Brown Starfish.
The chocolate starfish. It sounds more like a race. I'm going to go for it's no a race. So
2-1. The Grizzly Bear Trail is a race. But thank you, Stephen. You've won.
A wee consolation. A wee consolation 90th minute goal.
A lot of effort went into that.
A lot of effort went into the middle race.
Yes.
A lot of effort, a lot of grunt work went into that. Oh, but I thought you were going to come away with the Ultra Trail Indonesia there, John.
Oh, the UTI. Yeah, that's coming.
Yeah,
That's coming.
UTI.
So that's race or not for now. So thank you very much for taking part. And
that's
yes.
no problem. That's no problem. I think ChatGPT maybe got involved in that end.
Oh no, this is off of the work of my brain, Stevie Boy. This is all my natural intelligence.
That's even scarier. Okay. Right. Thanks for that, John.
You're welcome. Cateran Trail. Let's do Cateran Trail.
Let's go. Cateran Trail. John recently took part in the iconic Cateran Trail Ultra Marathon up in Highland Perthshire.
Go with that. Go with that.
Let's go with that. And if you follow John on socials, if you follow us on socials, you'll know that it didn't quite pan out the way that it was intended to.
Hell no.
But that doesn't mean, John, that there isn't a wee story to tell. So, first up, tell listeners who maybe didn't know what the Cateran Trail is all about.
The Cateran Trail is a 55-mile trail race. I think it's about 10-15% of it's on tarmac, but most of it it's trails that sheep skulk about on, all these sheep trods and all that sort of carry on. It's got, I think it's near just about 7,000 feet elevation as well. So where the Cateran Trail is a looped circuit, so you can start it anywhere, but the race organisers choose to start it at Spitler Glen Shee. And if you're looking at a map, you would then go down the east side of the Cateran Trail. So you go down to Curtin of Glen Isla, you go to Alyth, across to Blairgowrie, and you have to start heading back up to Bridge of Cally, Kirkmichael, Enoch Dhu, back to Spitler Glen Shee. That's your 55 miles. There's checkpoints along the way, 4 or 5 checkpoints, 4 or 5 drop bags that you can put stuff at. And there's 1, 2, 3 places you have to be by a certain time. And that's when you can be advised if you're going to be able to carry on or not. So, but a brilliant event, beautiful bit of the country that I'd never been in before. It's one that we've said before. It's on our back door. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of the ultra marathons. It's closest to us, where we live in Scotland. But for some reason, neither of us has had a go at it. And I think my reason, and it might be similar to yours as well, is towards the end of the football season. Do you know what I mean? It's like this year was the 10th of May, so it's after the league. The Premier League splits into 2 halves, and then there's a lot of important games take part then. But I met Bill Ayres at his Highlander event last summer up at Blair Athol, and he said it's happening the 10th of May, and I said then, right, I'm entering. So I just said, if I miss a game, I miss a game, and I did. But I went up to take part in it, and I'm glad I did. I had a brilliant day.
So, race organizer, Rocket Events?
Yes, yes.
Also,
I'm saying I had a great day. Ada, the famed Ada, said I had a good half a day.
Okay.
So, I like the way she put it, though.
She'll soon ground you. Rocket Events also do a few of the other well-known Scottish ultras.
Yeah, Go 33, Glenogle Trail, Glenmore 12 and 24, the Great Glen, to name but a few. There's one there, I'm missing something. The Highlander as well.
Backyard Ultra at Blair Athol, the Highlander. So they're always well organised events. I'm sure that was the case in terms of the race experience, John.
It seems very low key and very friendly. But there's a lot of work goes in to make that happen, you know. So I've been doing the Blast Run and Q&A. Cat Bruce did the Cateran Trail a few years ago.
Yep.
And I was speaking to Cat about it, and we were talking about a number of things. And one of the things that came up was about whether to get in the dormitory. I've got to take over this sort of lodge place, like a hostel. To take over that or to camp. I chose to camp. And that's one of my big lessons learned. I arrived at like 5 o'clock on the Friday evening, first car in the field, right? And Billy Ayres says, take your pick, go wherever you like. So I went over towards a fence, got my tent out, got it pitched and all that. The reason I camped was I was thinking, wherever I finish in the field, I'm going to end up on a top bunk. No thinking, I could have claimed a bottom bunk on the Friday night. It just never entered my head. Never entered my head. So I paid the price for that, man. I got about 3.5 hours sleep. It was Baltic. I went to -2. This weather we're experiencing just now, it was the same on the 10th of May, 9th, 10th of May. I went to -2 during the night, woke up with ice inside the tent. Absolutely brutal. All I had in the tent was my race kit, right? And the socks I was going to wear the next day. And I thought, I'm not going to put them up to go for a pee, get my socks soaking wet. So I had all that stuff you didn't need. You know, we've always said you need a wee bit of fanny about time, right? My head was fannying about at 2:30 in the morning, writing a list of things I had to do. So that's another lesson learned. All that stuff should have been done before. How did I not sleep in my own bed and drive up in the morning?
Ask myself the same question.
There was folk driving from Inverness and the borders, right? And arriving at like 5 o'clock. Race briefing was 6:45. Bags of time. It's an hour's drive from my house. Probably 50 minutes. Probably 50 minutes if you go at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, funny boy.
So made a total arse of that. But maybe I was wanting to be part of the vibe and all that stuff that was going on. It was good. But I'll be honest with you, I tried to go to my bed at like 8:15. Couldn't sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
So there we are.
So know the perfect preamble. Race kick-off time.
7 a.m.
Okay. We heard last week about your coffee woes.
Another few funny story. Things come back to you. Eh? I went to register on the Friday night, took all my drop bags. All my drop bags were the same. They're exactly the same stuff in it, right? I said to Billy Ayres, I says, what's the crap with drop bag? We do that in the morning. Right, no bother. So drop bags back to the car, put them back in the car. Went over in the morning, took my drop bags, and what they had was like 5 of the, I can only describe them as like the extra size, the extra bags you get at IKEA, big blue bags, right? So they put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And folk are going, some folk only had 2 drop bags. So they say, what numbers, what? And I say, it doesn't matter to me. Mine's are exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there was some folk were getting quite particular about what was going where and stuff. So when that all got explained, it was fine. So I was up about 4 o'clock in the morning, but I was up and getting ready. I would say 5:30, 5:45, loads of time. Paul or somebody pumps that wee air hooter they've got. There's like 5 minutes to the race briefing at 7:15. I'm like, what's going on? I'm rushing about like a dafty. I must have just mistimed stuff. So I went to the race briefing. Bald did his bit. Sean Stone did his bit. And then you walk up and over the road into the trail to where the race starts. And the sun was just sort of hitting your skin. So I was fucking frozen. But the sun was just sort of hitting your skin. You're getting a wee bit warmed up. I think there was, I know the number actually, Stephen, give me a second. There were 75 people, maybe, 75 people started the race on the Saturday morning. So it wasn't too busy. Started bang on the dot, 7 o'clock. Race organisers, spot on. It was great. And then you're off on your merry way, going to 55 miles in 15 hours. That was a challenge. Within, now, it's hot, right? It's going to be hot. The predictions are going to be hot. Sorry, you got a question?
I was going to exactly what you were touching on there. It was going to be hot. It was a blue sky day.
Yeah, it was. It was. Half of you's thinking it's going to get hot. Another half of you's thinking this is bloody gorgeous. It was absolutely stunning. I'd had a wee voice exchange with Jodie Laird because Jodie had done the Cateran before. She sent me a nice message wishing me well, as a number of people had sent messages saying wish me well. So thank you all very much for that. And it was hot. I think the year Jodie done it, and she said it's going to be hot tomorrow. So I've been thinking about that. I'd spoken to Fiona, Coach Fiona, about it as well, and my plan was to run reservedly, but comfy. And so I started off doing that. But what happened within, I'm going to say, 1.5 miles to 2 miles, I said there was 70 odd runners there. Mm-hmm. After about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, there was a group of 6 hanging about the back, and I was one of them. There was Hayley Wilkin, who introduced herself to me in the morning, her and her pal Joe Sharp. They were there. Actually, there was only 5 of us. And there was a boy, Andy Jump, who Andy and I got to know each other quite well, and a boy, Billy McIsaac. Only found out his last name after the race. Only knew him as Billy on the race. And we were just chugging along, and we were saying, like, what way do you go? Because within, as I say, very quickly, you couldn't see anybody in the horizon because there's a lot of undulating and bendy stuff. So you couldn't see anybody, and folk were getting a wee bit concerned about getting lost. We got lost 3 times in the space of about 10 minutes. And the sweep team, who were Keith Hughes, Sandy Orr, and a boy Alan. Sorry, Alan, I never found out your last name. They were keeping us right, be shouting, go that way, you dafties and all that. So we just cracked on, but I never saw anybody outside of that 5 people I was with all day, you know, so that gap opened up. My reflection there is maybe ran that a bit too reservedly for the heat. Maybe some of these people had been on the course before and know the sort of pace you've got to move at. So it's thinking about the heat that was there, but also the heat that's yet to come. And by the time the heat came, and it wasn't long after that, when we were moving this is a wee bit further on actually, attempting to move a wee bit quicker, it wasn't happening. So I'd made a miscalculation, shall we say, about the pace that I was going at and the pace I would have to go at. But at that point, everything felt absolutely fine. Got to Curtin and Glenila. I was hoping to be at Curtin and Glenila in 3 hours, so for 10 o'clock in the morning. I think we rocked in there about 25 past 10. So already a bit behind.
What distance was that at?
That's about 15, 16 miles. 15, 16 miles. So I'm feeling comfy there. But then I heard Keith saying to Alan and Sandy, we're a wee bit behind for Blairgowrie. Blairgowrie was a 2:30 cut-off, right? We're a wee bit behind. I think Blairgowrie's 31 miles, 32 miles. We're a wee bit behind, he says, so I'm going to crack on at the pace you need to go to get to Blair. So he was saying that, no, at this point, but he was saying that, I heard him and I thought, right, I'm going to have to crack on. So left Curtin, you're heading for Alyth. I crossed this bridge and Keith was coming across the bridge behind me. I left it open for him. You've then got one of these big climbs, not quite Fusedale, but it feels like it, you know, for the Lake District. It feels like it, but it's not quite as big as that. So on the hill, there's Andy in front, there's Billy, and then there's Keith, and then there's me. And I'm thinking, right, I'm going to be in touch with them at the top of this hill, or I'm falling behind, thinking what Keith had said. So I marched on and I managed to catch them at the top of the hill. There was then a wee shady forest bit we went through, and Keith stopped us. And he said, this might not be his exact words, but he said, please excuse my bedside manner. Something like that. He says, but I'm going to tell you, the hard truth is that we're going to have to kick on and get this done. If you go at my pace, you'll get to Blairgowrie for 2:30 and we'll get through that cut off. I was like, all right. So Keith spent a bit of time running with Billy, running with Andy, running with me, and then just back and forth. So he was doing an absolutely brilliant job looking after everybody. Behind me, then I'll turn around, there's somebody behind me. Who's this? It's only Neil McRitchie. What's he doing back there? Aylard had a wee visit to the little boys' room at Cateran and Glenila. Says someone hadn't agreed with him for the night before. I think he'd been being sick and stuff. But man, he must have got a right good clear out because he was going like a train past me. And honestly, in true Neil McRitchie, kid human being style, given what he was, how he was suffering, he was still encouraging me on. You can do this. You can do this. And then, but off he went. Him and Keith went off. I'm already starting to doubt if I'm going to get there by this point. And we come down to this. It's a massive, for me, it's a massive grassy descent, really, really steep. Come down there and you come to this signpost and it's like a dog leg. You go back on yourself to an angle and there's a sign that says Aylith 3 miles. And I thought, oh, this is not happening. You had to be, I'm sure it was either 12-ish or 12:30-ish in Aylith, right? This is like 12:30 now, right? Nah, it couldn't have been 12:20 maybe now. And by this time, Sandy and Alan, the sweepers, were just hearing a bit crack. And I seen Andy. I thought, right, I'll catch Andy, get a bit crack with him. And as I was running up towards this field, we had a wee bit chat earlier on about race, about etiquette, about holding gates open, right? And it was either Bully or Andy, I can't remember who, had said, I'll just let the gate go, right? So if somebody's approaching, but when I was approaching him, he was holding the gate open. So fair play to Andy for doing that. But this is a funny moment. What happened was, we're going up a hill, and there's these 2 cyclists coming down a hill. And the first cyclist was a lady, and she's going, woo, 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 go on, you've got this. And then the guy come in behind them, he's going, woo, woo, woo. He's like, that's John Cassidy. Go on yourself, John. I was like, what the fuck is that? So if either of you are listening, please let me know who you are, because I want to say a massive thank you to you. I really, really appreciate that. We lift all my spirits. And Sandy, I thought Sandy was going to pee, so laughing at it. So Andy and I, I'll be honest, there wasn't much running then. The legs were gone. He was saying he was suffering from cramps. I was saying, you want some salts? He's like, freaking 2 packs of salts. Oh, shout out to Andy Jump, by the way. Andy Jump works with, it's either Scottish National Heritage or Forestry Scotland. He is one of the team, he was hesitant about telling us this, that's responsible for the new path on Conic Hill. So his team, he worked on that to put that in, and he explained about why it's been done, how much it cost, and all that sort of stuff. So if you see, it was millions. So Andy Jump's doing the West Highland Way. So if you see Andy Jump on the West Highland Way, say thank you to him. Didn't be bad mouthing that new hill. It's there for all the right reasons.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and a massive bit of work as well. Billy McIsaac is also doing the West Highland Way. So I'm hoping to see them at some point on that day. But anywho, we then get back. We get to Aylith to be met by the mad cows of Aylith. Donna Pass, Lorna McLean, and Sylvia McGoldrick were dressed up in these dungarees with like black and white, like the coo on the top of the Horn Milk Bar on the way to Dundee, dressed like that. Andy and I got lost in the Den of Aylith. It's impossible to get lost in the Den of Aylith, but we did it. And by that time, it was absolutely boiling hot. There was no way we were getting to Blair for 2:30. And then Linda, who works with Sean Stone, first aider, once we were through there, she was going back to Spitler Glen Shee. So she very kindly gave us a lift back to Spitler Glen Shee.
So at Aylith, just to clarify my understanding,
10 to 1 at Aylith.
10 to 1 at Aylith. What, 25 miles in? Yeah,
we've done a marathon, but we got lost 3 times.
Okay, right. Okay, did you get a medal for a marathon?
No, but I've got a virtual one.
I'll sort you a medal. Okay, but was it you then who just packed it in there?
Yeah, I think they would have encouraged us to go. They ran towards us with our drop bags, but there's no way, and because Easter Monday, I'd hiked from Jimmy Widge to Ailith and back.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as you go out a day in Ailith, you've got a hill that takes you 20, 25 minutes to get up. You know, so I knew. And then when you come out of Jimmy Widge, you've then got about a mile and a half down to Blairgowrie. So I knew there was no way that was going to happen. So I was feeling good things that happened. I ate every 30 minutes when my watch beeped. I did that. My hydration was all right. I took extra water with me, but when I got to Ailith, you're lucky if I had an inch in a soft flask. And then a few hours later, it's okay to speak about the colour of your pee because we're all runners.
Yep.
A few hours later, my pee was like Fanta. And it wasn't back to a sort of Coors Light colour until mid-afternoon Sunday, maybe tea time Sunday. So, yeah, Linda very kindly gave Andy and I a lift back to Spitler Glen Shee, and I went in to speak to Bill and Ada. And Bill said, what went wrong? I said, I've no excuses. I said, but if you want to listen to me, I can give you 4 or 5. And that's just what I've been speaking about there. The lack of sleep, the heat, miscalculating everything. I've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who messaged me afterwards with concern. I was a bit concerned about myself. I wasn't feeling great about it all. But weirdly, you know, I didn't feel good after the Lakes DNF last year, but that maybe took 4, 6 weeks, 2 months maybe afterwards for me to really appreciate that. I didn't feel anything like that this time. What I did was I was in absolute awe of the people that finished it. You know, 66 people finished that 55-mile course that day. I mentioned Hayley Wilkin. I seen Hayley in a video. She did a sprint finish at the end with whoever she came in with, which was quite brilliant. But we should give massive kudos to Saki Nakamura, who was the first ever, I believe, female outright winner with the Cateran Trail Race in a time of 9 hours and 8 minutes. 9 hours and 8 minutes, 55 miles. Doing that flat on a cool day would be brilliant. To do it in the conditions. So Saki, I take my hat off to you. Absolutely phenomenal running. And everybody else that got the job done. I know a lot of people, met a lot of people the night before in the morning of the race that all got through these conditions. They managed it right. And it's absolutely fantastic. So well done to everybody. Well done to everybody that towed the line. You know, I felt a bit of a victory even standing on that start line. I've had a good training block, feeling all right. Lack of sleep was shite the night before, but I was feeling all right. I was quite chuffed with myself. So everybody that completed it should be really chuffed. So that's where I would go with that. But yeah, thank you everybody that got in touch afterwards. I'm a great advocate of send a message, and I was really, really touched by the people that did send a message. A whole host of different ways people got in touch and a whole lot of things, and people were sharing things with me that folk want to make you feel better, eh? So, and they did. So thank you all. Thank you very much for that.
Would you recommend it, John?
100%, man. Brilliant race. Will I go back? I think, you know what? I never recorded the whole thing. It was one of these, had a bit of the Ali Caldwell's about me, you know, to see what happens on the day. But I think I'd like to go back, and that's a compliment to Ali Caldwell, by the way. But I think if I was going to go back, I think I'd record the whole thing so I understand more of what's involved. You obviously can't replicate the heat,
yeah.
But you can prepare better for it, you know. And I hadn't done that. That's the only thing I hadn't done, the heat thing. I hadn't really thought about that. But as we know, Stu Johnston, I always think about Stu, says you can train for it, you can make it happen. I never thought I needed to do that, but I've no regrets. I had a great day. I would recommend it. It's one of the most beautiful courses I've been on. And speak to Sandy. I think I called Sandy Orr one of my new pals. Sandy Orr's a pal. It has been for a while. I think I called the Sweet Sweep team my new pals, but I class Sandy, or I think about Sandy as a pal for a long time. Sandy had said it's one of his favourite routes in Scotland. You know, the West Highland Way is brilliant, and I love the West Highland Way, but it's busy at times. Mm-hmm. The Cateran Trail isn't quite as busy as that, so you can get a bit of solitude, isolation, if that's what you're looking for. And it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
And can I ask, if you don't mind me asking, how was your knee?
Knees were fine, man. I'd done a lot of preparation, both with Fiona and also with the physio that I got to see, Elaine. And that's been all the way through the training block. We've managed, what I had to do was think about the load in between and manage it and be honest with myself and be honest with Fiona about how I was. And I did do that, and we balanced the flat stuff with the gym stuff, with the canoe haul stuff. I felt the best shape I could be on that start line. My knees were feeling good. I never felt, no, my knees were not in the way of what happened for me on that day. Did my first, I've no ran since the Cateran Trail, the 10th of May, until today. I went up Dukeney and Canoe Hill this morning. That was the first I'd been back out, and it felt absolutely fantastic to be back out running again. So I've now got to think about what's next. I was going to be doing the Grand Tour of Skiddaw. That got cancelled. That was in the lakes. I think that was going to be August. That's been cancelled. So the next big thing in my diary is back to the Track 100 in October on a running track. But I have secured 2 prime events, but they're no long hangs. One's the Brig Bash, which is 5 miles, doing that. Mm-hmm. And then, I hope Stevie Burrow's listening, I've secured a place for the Purvey of the Year, the 4th Bridge 10K run by Petrivi. I've secured a place, sold out in about 6 minutes or something. So I've secured a place for that as well. So that's all I've got. There's a big chunky gap in my race calendar. And I'm cool with that.
You hate to be cool with that sometimes. It can be good just to almost do a wee hard reset. A wee hard reset. There you go. There's an oxymoron.
Yeah. And you know what? Fiona and I chatted a day or two. I think it was a Monday afterwards, and we've decided to take a wee break. You know, she said, I'm going on holiday. So she says, have your holiday, have the month of June, and then we'll talk again. So and that almost felt good as well, because there's someone that Elaine, the physio, said I was getting a sports massage no long after. I think it was a Tuesday after the Cateran. I said, how are my legs feeling? She says, your legs feel all right. She says, but remember, you've done a training block as well. It's not just the race you've done. You've done a training block as well. So, yeah. So time to recover from that and then think again. But I'm feeling all right, man. I'm feeling all right. Yeah.
Thank you for that honest and refreshing view on a DNF that it moves on quickly from it. I think that's what I'm hearing from you, John. Yeah. That there's no one to dwell on at all. Sleep, conditions, and sometimes it's just no your day.
And I think that's it, Stephen. It was because for 66 people, it was their day. They had an absolute belter, you know, and the conditions were exactly the same for everybody. So I'm not going to be too hard on myself at all. And I've got a song. I
was going to ask that.
Yeah, when I got in Linda's car, the very kind Linda, she got a big bear hug for me when we got to Spitler Glen.
Lucky Linda, she's now known as.
I did ask her if it was appropriate, if I could do that, and she was up for that. So thank you, Linda.
Okay.
When we got in our car, Andy and I, Blue Rose Code was playing. I don't know if she was streaming it, CD, I don't know what it was, but it came on. And ever since, Then, my favourite Blue Rose Code song is a song called Grateful. And I've been playing it, so I've had an earworm in my head since the 10th of May. So that's the song I would like to add for the Young Hearts Run Free listeners. Grateful by Blue Rose Code. And I'm grateful that I get to go and run. One of the things Fiona and I discussed was about how lucky we are to do what we do. And I'm very, very grateful for that, and grateful for lots of things and people that I've met through running. I'm not going to get emotional, maybe a wee bit, but that's the song I'd like to share.
That's the song that will be playing us out.
Okay.
Any last thoughts, John? Or are we putting the 2025 Cateran Trail in our rear view mirror?
Yeah. It's in the rear view mirror. And maybe now and again I'll have a wee glance back at it, because there's definitely been lessons learned. But it's a day Ada, half a day that I had an absolute blast. I was out doing what I love. I never listened to music all day because I was busy chatting with people round about me and spending time doing one of the things I'm most passionate about in my life. Absolutely loved it. So it's a wrap, Stevie Boy. It's a wrap.